Hi, welcome to Sutton Proving Grounds again today. I will be going over some various caliber tests just to get some chrono data between different barrel lengths. We'll be doing 22 short, 22 long rifle, 9mm, 124 grain right in the middle. We'll be doing 5.56 55 grain, 5.56 62 grain, and we'll be doing 5.7 by 28 out of a pistol and a rifle. So that's what I'll be doing today. Got the chronograph set up here. Walk you through what we're going to shoot real quick. We'll get right into it. The firearms we'll be using for this test are, of course, the 22 short NAA mini revolver, the Ruger Mark IV target, the 510 Target Master. We'll do both the short and the long rifles. Moving up to the 9mm, we'll be starting with the shorter barrel, the HK USP Compact, moving to the Glock 19X, which has about a 4-inch barrel. We have a Glock 17L, which has just over a 6-inch barrel, and we have an MP5, which has about an 8.5 to 9-inch barrel. I think it's like 8.8 inches typically. And then moving up to the 5.7s, we have a 5.7 pistol, and we have a PS90 with a 10.4-inch barreled SBR. Then moving to the 5.56 guns, we have a Mark 18 with a 10.3-inch barrel, and we have an MCX Virtus with a 16-inch barrel. Moving on to the ammunition we'll be shooting today, we have the 22 shorts, 29 grain moving at 710 feet per second, box velocity, 27 grain moving at 1105, so a slightly hotter load. We have for 22 LR, we have the 22 Thunderbolts. These are 40 grain lead around nose moving at 1255 box velocity. For the Blazer, we have 9mm Luger 124 grain FMJ, so right in the middle there of the 9mm bullet weights that you see typically. Moving to 5.7, we have the FN Gunner. This is a 40 grain SS201 full metal jacket, so we'll see how those do in both of those. And then for the 5.56, we'll be doing a 5.56 55 grain box velocity of 3165, and then we'll be doing a 62 grain M855 green tip, which has a box velocity of 3060 feet per second. So that's the rundown. We'll get started. All right, going to start with the 22 short mini revolver, 29 grain, 710 feet per second, 22 CB shorts. So get a 5-shot group here. I'll edit it down as much as I can so we can just get the information quick, and I'll show the chronograph average at the end of each 5-shot group, and I'll start a new one for each rifle or handgun test. So let's get started. So our average was 496.7. Those are falling out at the end there. That's fun. All right, same 22 short, pest control, 710 feet per second. Do 5 shots with the Target Master here. We had an average of 706 feet per second, quite a bit faster than the pistol. 510 Target Master has about a 25-inch barrel. We will move up to the hotter round at 1105 feet per second. All right, these are a 29 grain copper plated hollow point. You can see that right there. And I'll be doing the NAA mini revolver 5-shot group. See what we get with these. So our average was 672 feet per second for that. Those are certainly faster than the low velocity ones. All right, chrono's set up. I'm gonna do the hotter 22 shorts that I have. Getting a lot of velocity out of that rifle. It had an average of 1065.6 on the velocity for those hotter 22 shorts. All right, now the Remington Thunderbolts. These are super popular, have been around forever. Out of the Ruger Mark IV. This is a 5.5-inch barrel. Let's see what we get. So our average there was 10.25 on the nose for 5-shot group out of that Ruger Mark IV. Chronograph is reset. Get a 5-shot group for the 22 Thunderbolts out of the rifle. An average of 1,215 feet per second out of the rifle. About 200 feet per second faster than the pistol. Not surprising. USP compact, firing the Blazer 124 grain FMJ. And we have an average of 1087.7. That is a 3.58-inch barrel. Very consistent with the ammunition. Just over 10 feet per second from the high to the low. 1087 average, not bad. Glock 19X, this has just over a 4-inch barrel. It's like 4.02 inches. Again, the Blazer 124 grain FMJs. Average on that was 1097.5, so 1097.5 feet per second. Our minimum was 1094 and our max was 1110. So pretty good. Glock 17L, Blazer 9mm, 124 grain, and we have a 6.02-inch barrel on this, I believe. Let's just call it 6 inches. So we had an average of 1196.7 with the 124 grain Blazer out of that 6-inch barrel. 6-inch Glock barrel gives you a sizable velocity boost. So 1196.7 average out of the Glock 17L. All right, 5-shot group out of an MP5 clone. Just under a 9-inch barrel with this. A little bit faster than the Glock 17L there. On the average, we're looking at 1246.4. If I recall correctly, maybe about 50 feet per second over the Glock 17L. And we are quite a bit faster than that shorter barreled USP with the approximately 3.5-inch barrel. So MP5 gives us the average of 1246.4. All right, 5.7 pistol, shooting the FN Gunner 5.7 by 28. These are a 40 grain FMJ. Let's see what we get. So yeah, right around 1700. Our max was 1709, our min was 1605 with an average of 1643.1. So roughly 1650 out of that handgun. Not bad, not bad. Have the P90 or the PS90 10.4-inch barrel on this. And we are shooting, again, the 40 grain FN Gunner ammo. So our average on that was 1975.1. So just shy of 2000, ranging 1943.9 on the low end to 2000.7 on the max there. But yeah, average of 1975.1. About 250 feet per second faster. 275 feet per second faster. That's not insignificant. Mark 18 with a 10.3-inch barrel. Chronograph is set, and we have the 55 grain with a advertised velocity of 3,165 feet per second. The American Eagle MSR lines. All right, we have an average of 2674.7, so about 2675. A little bit better than I thought. I thought I'd be right around 2500, but a little bit better. So 2674 on the Mark 18. The 16-inch barreled SIG Virtus MCX. We got the same 55 grain, moving at 3165. Let's see what we get. I'm gonna guess they probably did this testing with a full 20-inch barrel then. an average of 3,056.1 feet per second. So yeah, with our average, we're just about 100 feet per second slower. About 110 feet per second slower than the advertised velocity, which is not bad out of a shorter barrel. All right, Mark 18 again with the 62 grain M855 10.4 inch barrel. They are saying 30-60 on this. We aren't going to get that, but let's see what we got. So we had an average of 2565.2, 2565 on the average for the Mark 18 with the 62 grain. 62 grain green tips out of a 16-inch barrel Sig Virtus. They're saying 30-60 on these. I don't think we're going to get that, but we'll find out. We had an average of 29.25 on that, 29.09 on the low, 29.51 on the high end. All right, well, thanks for tuning in for that. I enjoyed getting all that data. That chronograph is super easy to use, and I will put a chart at the end just so you can see all the information for future reference. Feel free to screenshot it and use it as you shop and look for different things you'd like to acquire. I did learn that a lot of 5.56 ammo is seems like it's chronographed using a 20-inch barrel, even though 16 inches is far more common. You know, there is quite a lot of difference in some of these barrel lengths. You get a lot of different, you might get a big jump even with just 2 or 3 inches of extra barrel length. Hopefully you got something good out of this, and I appreciate you watching. Check the chart out at the end, and thanks for watching Sutton Proving Grounds. We'll catch you on the next one.